it was a busy week, 10 days or so.
That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, so we are going to get this going. Advanced sharing, okay. Here we go. Okay. Great. So I believe this is working. Hold on, let me triple check. Okay, live. And
I have
then,
a message that says this meeting is being live streamed.
okay, I think it's working. Excellent connection. It says it's happening. Okay, great. All right, now I'm going to start recording here, and then I will let people in. Let's see. All right,
Looks like we have 8 people in the waiting room so far.
forward to the cloud. Okay, everyone ready? And I will start letting people in. Okay, here we go. Of
Thank you.
course.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Mute. Hi.
It's wonderful to see all of you.
Hi. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Feel free to join with a video if you feel comfortable. Um, we are excited to be with you today for our TLC. Let's see, I'll just give it a minute as everyone pops in here. Okay.
If you wish, put into next to your name where you're from, where you're joining us from. Not required, but
Let's see. And you can drop it in the chat if you like as well. I'm Cleo. I will be helping out today, and I'm coming from Los Angeles, California.
and I'm Catherine, greeting you from Mallorca, Spain. So happy to be with you today.
Okay, yeah, okay. I got it. Perfect. I think I have to lower this.
Hello.
I need to get some water.
There's water here.
Okay. So thank you all for joining us today. I just want to let you know this is our second session exploring the theme of change. So as you settle in, feel free to let us know where you're coming from, and then we'll sort of introduce everyone and give you a sense of what we're doing today.
We are normally in Gloucester, Massachusetts, but we're on the other Cape. We're on Cape Cod with my brother Ross and his wife Susan, and they'll be joining us as well on a separate line.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Excellent.
You look like you're dressed for a party.
Cleo, you look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I love this little fruit
I
dress.
love the spring for the summer fruits there, the
Thank
kiwi.
you. Yes, we have kiwi, we have pomegranate, we have
Yes.
pear. I thought it was appropriate.
It's so Spanish looking, but not very American looking. So it's a welcome relief.
Agreed. Well, I guess to kick us off, again, I'm Cleo Handler. I'll be helping out today. Like I said, this is our second session exploring the theme of change, and we have the joy of talking with David Reed today about change. And we will be starting off with a meditation from Sheila. I will bring her up here, unless Catherine, is there anything else you want to add first?
No, just hello, everybody. And Sheila, please.
All right, let me spotlight you, and here we go.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm so happy to see you all. Friends, old friends, new friends, some family. Oh my gosh. Opening this session on change, I think it's really wonderful to take a moment to arrive and to settle and to kind of prepare in the body, the mind, and the heart. So my first invitation to y'all is to find what I like to call a comfortable seat. So in your chair, wherever you are, you might want to shuffle around a little bit, maybe get the feet towards the floor, hands resting somewhere on lap or knees. And if it's comfortable for you today, let your eyes softly close or maintain a soft gaze, kind of past the tip of the nose. And take a deep breath in that you can let out with a noisy sigh. And do that again. Take a deep breath in and then just let it go. Breathing away the morning, everything you did to arrive here, everything that you had to accomplish before setting aside the time for this practice of learning and growing and listening and being present. And then if it's comfortable for you, your breath could shift so that it's in and out through the nose. And that is a way to filter and lengthen and soften every breath. The shoulders drop away from the ears and the heart naturally rises. You might hear your breathing. It's a good thing. It's a wonderful anchor to the present moment. The jaw can soften. Your belly can soften. Perhaps a soft smile on your face, allowing gratitude to bubble up, appreciation for this community, for this moment, for this precious life. And notice how it feels for your body to settle in. Some subtle shifts as you feel your seat on your chair. Perhaps your feet on the earth, the line of your spine as you lift the crown towards the sky, holding a regal yet relaxed posture. We're taking rest. Resting in the flow of your thoughts, impressions, feelings, without judging what you observe, just watching, inviting in deep listening. As the seer, the observer, observing with great love and great compassion. Begin to notice all the phenomenon around you. Sounds, light flickering behind your eyes, all the changing aspects of your environment. The sounds that are really far away, humming, buzzing, summer sounds, perhaps bird song, wind in the trees, lawnmowers, the trill of insects. The sounds that are closer in your home, in your room. Just observing, not getting carried away, not getting drawn into storytelling. Have a felt sense of your inner environment, the ebb and flow of your breath, pulse, heartbeat. With every breath, your heart gets a little hug from the lungs, and with every breath, There's a gentle squeeze of the internal organs as your diaphragm lifts and lowers. Lungs full, then empty. And full again. This breath is an excellent anchor to the present moment, and begin to see how both the world within and the world without are always changing, constantly in flux, change always happening, things coming and going, rising and falling, softening your hands, your fingers, releasing any lingering grip on things you cannot control. And let's be quiet together. A sense of stillness as these worlds without and within continue to shift and change. Just observe. And if your mind wanders, return to your breath. We'll have a very slow return. Please keep your eyes soft or closed. And recognizing that mindful practices like these help us to train the mind to be with the flow of change, to remain equanimous in the face of what is changing, to find the quiet space within, even as the storms of life swirl around us. We know that change will always be a constant companion on our journey through life. And whether we resist it or embrace it can determine not just our happiness, but our potential growth. A yogic perspective reminds us that life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes, and resisting these changes creates sorrow. It's said, let reality be reality. But what is so exciting and so important to add is that by this practice of observing, we can begin to see more clearly. And seeing more clearly allows us to choose. We can stay here with what is, as we are, or take another path. And with clarity and faith and trust As Joseph Campbell tells us, we must be willing to let go of the life that we've planned so as being able to have the life that is waiting for us. So taking a deep breath in, exhale nicely, audibly, letting go, making more space and room for all of the possibilities and to be ready to listen and learn. I invite you to open your eyes and return for this afternoon session. Thank you.
Oh, Sheila, thank you. What a beautiful frame for our webinar today.
That was really lovely. Thank you so much. All right. Well, this is meant to be an open conversation. So, just encouraging everyone, we would love to hear from you. If you feel compelled to write into the chat or raise your hand throughout, we want to hear your insights and wisdom. So, these monthly Sunday TLC gatherings are intended to be a space where we can build our Living Whole online community.
Last month, we began this series of 3 webinars focused on change with facilitator musicians Noah Plotkin, Maya Ibar, and Tristan Martineau. Living Whole Online includes creative pursuits like music, art, writing, photography, and filmmaking that lift our hearts, because not only do they help us heal, they help us through precarious times, like the times we are currently living through. Creativity is a shape changer. One moment it takes this form, and in the next moment it takes that form. It's like a dazzling spirit that appears to us all, wielding pigments on canvas, pen on paper, fingers on instruments. Creativity helps parents raise children. Protesters cook up a revolution. People find their voices. Even though David Reed's day job is that of Vice President of Medical Oncology and Ambulatory Care Operations at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, creativity infuses his whole being. And we have the privilege of hearing about some of his creative activities and sharing about our own during this webinar. David and I have known each other from our days working at the Massachusetts General Hospital about 30 years ago. And his contributions to Living Whole Online include podcasts and programs in the food section, in the movement section, and in the mind, body, spirit, art section, and filmmaking section. When we're in the midst of change, we often don't appreciate the benefits. Sheila was really touching on this during that gorgeous meditation. We often don't appreciate the silver linings, the opportunities that change is offering to us. We may not see how that dazzling spirit of creativity is here to help us. David, over the years, I've seen you face changes that were both unexpected and also those that you planned for. Many have been changes that posed challenges. Talk to us about how you approach change.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Thanks for that great introduction. And hello, everyone. Catherine asked me to talk about what change means to me. And I know change means different things to different people. You're going to have 3 different months of speakers on change. For me, it means we all understand as time passes and we grow older, changes are inevitable, especially in technology areas. But as we know, there are 2 types of change. It can happen as a result of life circumstances such as health, or where you get accepted to college, or where you get a job, etc. Or change can also be more intentional, things done to improve your life or the world. So I am going to share my screen, and I'm going to make sure if everyone can see this. Can folks see that screen?
Yeah.
Great.
That's
Okay.
good.
So cute.
Really good. I am going to also minimize it so I can read everything I wrote on the screen. But for now, I want to talk about some of my favorite motivational change quotes that I frequently, I'm going to save my best one for last, but these are great quotes that from some leaders with regard to change. So Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." The next one is, "The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." This is by Alan Wilson Watts. "Change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end." I love this one, by Robin Shamara. "I am no longer accepting things that I cannot change. I am changing the things that I cannot accept," by Angela Davis. "Words are where most change begins," by Brandon Sanderson. "And education is the most powerful weapon with which you can change the world," by Nelson Mandela. And the last one is, which we hear frequently, and it's attributed to the Greek philosopher Heraclitius. I think I've got that right. "Change is the only constant." So I'm going to go back to this for a second. Some people don't understand the benefits of change when it's happening to them now. I am one of those people. I generally consider myself a progressive, but can be also someone who tries to resist change from time to time. So I guess I'm the odd hybrid of someone with progressive values, but with a tinge of historic preservationist in me. Some things in life can seem like two step forwards and one step back, or these days in the US, sometimes we feel seems like one step forward and two steps back. But embracing change for the long game is important, and it can help when someone is intentional about it. Sometimes you have to lean into things. I don't like the term "only if it's convenient." So I'm trying to lean into aspects of my life where I need to know change is inevitable. Early in high school, I remembered listening to a panel of seniors. I was a young high school student. The member of the senior class were up on this panel about what they wanted to do in and with their lives. Some talked about how much money they wanted to make. Another person talked about how many houses they wanted to have and where. But one guy in the group said, in a way, he wanted to live his life with his choices that he made throughout it to make sure he just left the world a slightly better place. That thoughtful, humble, undramatic comment really resonated with me. Some things stick and some things are impactful. So I've always remembered that from high school, to say, what can I do to leave the world in a slightly better place than when I found it or when I came into the world? So I really like to be data-driven for change. This is just one example, always looking at data. Where do greenhouse gases emission come from? And many on this group are plant-based eaters. Many are non-emissions or non-polluters where they can be. And so this is just a chart that I pulled up to talk about where do greenhouse gas emissions from. This is just an example, but my point is to be data-driven for change. This is another chart from the Centers of Disease Control on the obesity rates and how they're increasing in the United States. And it's really concerning. I actually have these in another slide of how they change every 10 years, and it's for the worst. So just be data driven, I think, when you strive to be the change, because it can actually make change easier. Now I'm going to talk about 10 actions that we can all do to change the world and help make it a better place. And I'll talk about where I've been successful and some where I've been less successful in. So, of course, walk, bike, or take public transportation. If you drive, buy an EV. Eat sustainable plant-based foods. Of course, you reduce, reuse, recycle, and wean off plastics. Conserve water. Live energy-wise. Turn the lights off. Install solar panels. Install LED bulbs. Plant a tree or two. Compost your food waste. Volunteer for what you believe in. And work in professions and companies that try to make a difference in the world. And again, I've been successful in several of these, but sometimes not completely successful. And you're going to see some examples. So again, this is a warning. Be prepared for lots of bikes in this presentation, because that's one of my passions. This is an actual photo I took when I took my wife to Holland for her birthday 1 April, and when we left the Leiden train station, this is the site we saw. So there was no shortage of bikes there and everywhere. And I love this this paradigm. This one runs on fat and saves you money. This one runs on money and makes you fat. This is a photo of me bike commuting. I've been bike commuting for over 20 years. This was the Snowmageddon winter of 2015, but still managed to do it as much as I could. This is our photo of the back of our house with its solar panels on. We take those electrons and then pump it right into our we have 4 cars, so we're not perfect. We do have 3 EVs of those cars. So we're trying to, irrespective of what's going in Washington, it's made a huge difference, we think, in both pollution and also the cars and batteries are getting better, so there's not the range anxiety that people have had before. And I'm happy to answer more questions about this. Also, feel free during this talk to raise your hand or interrupt me, and I'm happy to tell you more. This is a photo of Catherine and I at one of our favorite restaurants in Watertown, Mass. Catherine, David, and I go here frequently. It's really great. It's called Red Lentil. I'm not sponsored by Red Lentil at all, but I'm having shepherd's pie, which is all completely plant-based. Also, choose choose something you're passionate about. And for me, it's trail advocacy right now. Trail advocacy is one of my more passionate things. It's easier to put the effort in and make change if you're passionate about this. So I'm going to talk about several projects that I'm involved in. The East Coast Greenway is one. It's a 3,000-mile trail through the densely populated East Coast. It's a non-motorized shared use path that is currently in development. It's about a little over 40% complete, and each year it gets more and more done. And I have been lucky enough to cycle the entire East Coast from Calais, right on the Canadian border, to Key West. And even on the on-road sections, they make it so it's on the safest roads possible, connecting the gaps. The Border to Boston Trail is another one. This is my local passion. This is something that I've been working on, connecting all of the trails from the New Hampshire border to Boston. and working on the gaps. And I have a meeting once a month about this, and all of the planners get together and we lobby and have been very successful for with funding to get this trail built. But change has to start somewhere. It's seeing the possibilities. This is a photo of my son Brandon, and the one on the left, my daughter Stephanie, is in the backpack. And when we moved to our town of Topsfield, they had an abandoned railroad, as did, that went to the town south of us and the town north of us. And then I started getting involved and said, how can we make this a rail trail now, which is very well used. So we started with redecking the Brandon Railroad bridges. We set up a committee that met, and first it was getting over the bridges, which was good. This is a photo of my daughter Stephanie the day that we finished redecking the trail over the Ipswich River Bridge. So it was a great day for this in 2009. Next, we added stone dust on either side of the trail that we needed to pack down, and it was easier to pack down after it raised, but it came out really, really nice. Then we worked on trail amenities, informational kiosks. And here's something, that I have a very concerned look on my face, rightly so, that we over-engineered this one. So we realized that if we made these, it would take a month to build each one. And all of us had day jobs and we're all working. So my friend Todd, who's on the call, he was there the day we put this together. So we decided, in order to have the trail kiosks, we needed to put them on a diet. So we changed to make a smaller version, and never underestimate child labor. This is my son Brandon helping putting one of the smaller ones together in our garage. And this is, we basically were Henry Ford. We made an assembly line, and we made 5 or 6 of these that we got ready to install in the spring. And this is an example of a photo that I took just recently. So they all came out really nice right along the trail. They have a map of the trail, they have distances, and then the left lower end panel, they have a little bit about the history of the particular area or town that we're going through. So back to the 3,000-mile non-motorized trail along the congested East Coast, the East Coast Greenway. As I mentioned, I led a group from the Canadian border all the way down to Key West. And because we were working stiffs, essentially we did it a week a year at a time. So the first year we biked from the Canadian border to Portland, Maine. That was about 350 miles. The next year, we all met up at the same parking lot in Portland, Maine, and biked another 350 miles to Hartford, Connecticut. And year 3, we went from Hartford to Philadelphia. And we just kept going like that for 9 years until we reached Key West. I thought maybe this might last 1 or 2 years, but everyone kept coming back. And they also wanted to bring their friends and work. Word started to get out about the week-a-year tour. And at some point, the group got to be about 40. And then we had to kind of cut it off to make sure that we had enough logistics to support them. But it was a fun tour. And this is a picture of 2019 arriving in Key West. And this is the very happy group that was there. Some of them. So, a lot of people did it. I met people from all 15 states the East Coast Greenway goes through. I had brought some GoPros and a drone, made a documentary about this. I wasn't sure, but I'm glad I kept the footage, from the early years, and wove it all together. And the movie's been watched thousands of times, and so that feels good getting the word out. But I was board chair at the time of this. At the end of this, we turned it into a fundraiser for the East Coast Greenway, and we raised almost $500,000 by people raising money for the East Coast Greenway based on the Week a Year tour. Board chair for 5 years, I already mentioned that. Another organization, trail bike organization that I'm involved with is, honoring the victims of tragedy. And this is, of course, September 11th. We are developing a trail. It's not as far along as the East Coast Greenway from Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, to the Twin Towers in New York City, and to the Pentagon Memorial. So we're going to connect those three areas. We also have a little loop in the middle that's going to take people down to Gettysburg because we thought that was historic enough. So we're in the process of working this. We just had our board meeting a couple of weeks ago. So this is work in progress. And an important part about this project and just change in general, we say with these trail projects, it's great therapy for the fanatical optimist because it takes so long to develop trail. I mean, it takes years and years. The one question we get off is like, when is it going to be done? When is it going to be done? Well, in this country, we go through various political cycles, as we know, and there's more or less support for some of the trail projects. I will say, working on the September 11th National Memorial Trail, I'm somewhat encouraged because it's really there's a lot of bipartisan support for this one. So we are getting funding. Also, another one of my passions is gun violence prevention. So there was a group of us that biked I live in an area north of Boston called the Tri-Town, which shares a regional high school. And we biked down to Newtown, Connecticut, to meet with the Sandy Hook teachers that went through that horrible, horrible day. Now about 12 years ago, and just to show support and raise some money for the Sandy Hook group down in Newtown, Connecticut. And they really, really appreciated our efforts. The other thing I also do more local to home is we're Warm Showers hosts. Up and down the East Coast Greenway, which we're about 2 miles off the trail where we live, we host people online. There's a website called Warm Showers, and you can sign up, and it allows people to contact you if you're home and available and want to open up your home. And we've had such amazing, amazing guests. This is a couple that is from the Netherlands. It was biking up the East Coast, and they stayed with us. We've had great other, I have a funny story from a few years ago. There was 2 French photographers biking up the East Coast, and they were staying with us. And my wife is fluent in French, so I'd get home at night and they'd be out on the back porch having happy hour and laughing and chatting. And then I went to work the next day, and I come home the next night and they're still there. They're having another happy hour. So they said the food was too good and they wanted another day off. So they stayed with us 2 nights. So, and the kids really enjoyed meeting them, and they were publishing articles, and they wrote a little blurb or thank you to our family in one of their articles. This is another couple from Nova Scotia who was biking down the East Coast Greenway to New York City with their 11-year-old daughter, Zoe. And they stayed with us for a night or 2, I forget. But this guy, I'm learning from him because I thought I was manipulative. His daughter wanted to go see the play Hamilton in New York City. And he said, all right, we will take you there if we can bike as a family from Nova Scotia down to New York City. And I give her a lot of credit at 11 years old, biking those hundreds and hundreds of miles. This is another couple from 2 weeks ago that were biking up from Florida, and they had their dog with them who stayed with us. And we've had also larger dogs. In this last year, we had a couple with a large husky in a trailer. So Warm Showers is a great website, and it really means being flexible, opening up your home to strangers. And we always get more out of the visits then we give in a warm shower and a hot meal, and we bring down our Murphy bed in one of our guest bedrooms, and they have a comfortable place to stay. And we get to share stories about cycling around the country. And this couple here is amazing. They were biking from Florida up to Bar Harbor, Maine. Then they were going to take the northern tier route of adventure cycling to Seattle, then go from Seattle down the Pacific coast to San Diego, and then there's a southern tier route from Adventure Cycle from San Diego to Tallahassee, Florida. So they were biking the whole periphery of the United States that, was going to take, of course, more than 6 months to complete, but they were all in. Just hearing that story. Also, Todd, who's on the call here, he and I have done several bike drop-offs and bike collections for an organization called Bikes Not Bombs. So what happens with all those bikes you just saw on all of those slides when they're no longer needed? Well, we help an organization send them to Africa and Central America. And we load up. We have a record of 500 bikes in a single shipping container. We take the pedals off and seats, and those go in separate boxes. But we load these bikes, and they're shipped to really people in need. And it's really amazing, some of the stories in these countries, people who would walk 20 miles to school and now they have a bike, or people would rig up ways to get water back to their village. So and we make sure they have there's a partner organization there who knows how to re-put them back together and fix them up and give them to appropriate people who need them. So Bikes Not Bombs is another great organization. Essex
David?
National Area.
David,
Yeah.
let me jump for 1 sec before
Sure.
you move on to Essex, and we're just remembering all about the bikes. Jack asked a question, how can we see the week a year film? And Jack, I just want to let you know, on the Living Whole website, there's a podcast with David and me where he describes the whole East Coast Greenway in a lot of detail. And every Sunday we put a new film or a new program up on the website, and programmed in this fall is the Week a Year Tour film that he made. It's a really terrific film. But if you want to see it before we get it up on the website, I can make a little deal with you.
Yeah.
Also, I just dropped that podcast into the chat in which they speak about the project, so you can see it there.
Thanks,
Oh,
Cleo.
great. Yeah, it's interesting. When we interviewed, during making the film, one year we interviewed, and one of the people, unsolicited, said that it changed her life doing that, using the word change. I never had imagined that, years later I'd be doing a podcast on change, but it changed this woman's life. So great question, and happy to send you the link early, of course, Cleo said. So I'm gonna, I had a lot of slides, but I actually edited it down, but I'm gonna veer away from bicycles for a few minutes and talk about, look at this photo with a lighthouse in it. And I was also chair of the board of Essex Heritage. And this is a heritage area up in Essex County in Massachusetts. And we had the opportunity a few years ago where the Coast Guard was decommissioning lighthouses and selling them off. You had to be a nonprofit. You had to allow public access to it. And so we, filled out all the forms, checked the boxes, and little did I know we had a lighthouse that the organization owned. So we had to renovate it, get grants. We also had 2 houses, the assistant innkeeper's house. And so this is a picture of my family. We got the lighthouse for $1, and we went to visit it. This is in 2017. We've done a lot of work to it since then. This is my son Brandon when he's a little older. This is a camping shed he built for his Eagle Scout project. He had to build the shed in our driveway, but build it in a way that it could come apart in panels to be put on a flatbed truck that he had to figure out how to borrow one from someone. And when we got to Salem, the port, it had to fit on this boat that they had. So there was a lot of logistical support, and the Eagle Scout folks were very impressed of all the different pieces. I, of course, helped him a lot with this, but he built a very nice shed, and this is used for the camping. So there's a couple of houses on the island, but there's also a lot of camping platforms that people can either kayak out or take a boat out. And there's stuff that's stored in there. There's a refrigerator now. We have solar panels that keeps the refrigerator going if the campers bring food, etc. Another passion I'm involved in is affordable housing. So, as one of the least religious people that you might meet, I was asked to chair the Affordable Housing Committee and Real Estate Committee for our church. We had a lot of land, and there's a huge demand for affordable housing up in Boston's North Shore and really through many parts of the country. But we cleaved off a 12.2 acre of land, and we're developing a 44 units of affordable housing for ages 62 and older. They have to be, below the average median income. The state has certain regulations, involves applying for tax credits, and residents, our town will be giving first priority, but realistically, given that we live in an upper middle class town, it'll be people from the outside of Topsfield that get a home. So this is actually a rendering of what it's going to look like. I was on email this morning with the developer about this, who had a few questions, and we're going back and forth about a traffic study that's going to be done right outside the driveway of this place. Again, this isn't built, this is a rendering, but construction will start in early 2026. Also initiating change through your work. As Catherine mentioned, I work at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, which I'm honored. We say what we do at Dana-Farber, which is truly true, changes lives everywhere. I hope none of you have to come to Dana-Farber, but it's really a place for when first-line therapy for cancer treatment fails at other places, and you have metastatic disease or a recurring tumor, and you need to get on a clinical trial. That's why you'd want to come to like a Dana-Farber or Memorial Sloan Kettering or MD Anderson. There's also other great cancer centers in the US. But one of my jobs is to get the word out internationally. And so I've been doing a lot of trips to Southeast Asia. I've been to China 10 times, and we signed an agreement with Sun Yat-sen University in Guangzhou, where we do remote tumor boards. And what that means is that it's 7 a.m. in Boston, it'll be 7 p.m. in Guangzhou, and Monday might be breast cancer day or something. And we present, our breast oncologists present 2 cases, and the folks at Sun Yat-sen present 2 cases. And we talk about the drugs that we use, what's similar, what's different, multidisciplinary care, if the patient should also be seen by a surgical oncologist and a radiation oncologist, in addition to a medical oncologist. So I won't go into too much detail, but this is kind of the signing ceremony that I was lucky enough to participate in. I also try to walk the talk for Dana-Farber's mission. I also donate platelets. This is my 200th platelet donation. They make a nice party, and I didn't know this, but they bring out a cake. They keep track of all of this. And so this is actually fun to be able to give back to our mission, because cancer patients, as many of you know, they're both immunosuppressed, but also they're platelet counts, especially leukemics, they really don't have any platelets, and they need frequent infusions of platelets. So in platelet pheresis, what happens is they put 1 needle in your arm, they take a unit of blood, they centrifuge it down, they skim off the platelets, they transfuse the unit back, and they do this several times till they get a full bag of platelets. So each donation does take a couple hours, but you don't leave anemic because you get all your red cells back. Happy to talk more about this if people want to. And also for mental health, I think, hobbies can change my attitude. So I have a lot of stress at work. I have about 1,700 people now that report up to me. So I've made woodworking as my key hobby. And this is a table that I made for a house a few years ago. It's made of 6 different types of wood, and I put a rose-colored marble top on it. This is from a long time ago. This sleigh bed, my wife said it was too big for our house. So it's actually with Catherine and David in Mallorca. They shipped it over when they moved from Boston, from Beacon Hill over there. And this is the night I finished it. This is like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like finally done with the project. But it's mostly cherry, and those panels are made out of maple. I also, because I've been told we have enough furniture in our house, I've been making end grain cutting boards. They're kind of like optical illusion cutting boards with different patterns. And during the pandemic, taught myself how to make epoxy river tables. So this is like live edge black walnut. You cut it down, you flip the ends over, mix up some epoxy, and color it with different pigments and really polish it flat, router it down and polish it flat. So these are 3 different tables I made. And even if Bikes Not Bomb, there are some bikes that actually Bikes Not Bomb does not want. So I've been making, bike tables out of them. Some of the really old bikes, especially the old ones with like gas tanks and those from the 50s and early 60s. This is this is an example of 10 of them I made. You can see there's one there with a live edge cherry board. That's at a coffee house that my daughter worked at in our downtown here in Topsfield. There's one that was a tandem that we made. So these are just kind of fun bike table projects. Some are made, the darker ones in the back are made out of barn board, and they can be outside use. The ones that have kind of like look like bike lanes on them or stripes, those are for indoor use, like ours. So I promise I'm almost done. This is a photo of my computer in my office here in the other room. And for over 20 years, I've had a little note taped to the bottom of it that I've left there. And I'm going to read it to you because it relates to change, of course. I am only one, but I am still one. I cannot do everything, but I can still do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. And this is by Edward Everett Hale. Interestingly, I went to the Edward Everett Hale Elementary School, but I'm sparing you a photo of that. So again, back to this picture with holding Stephanie. And the reason I'm going back to this picture is because we had some significant change in our family yesterday. And our wonderful daughter, we moved into college down at Penn State. And this is a huge change for our family because she's been just wonderful. The tears were flowing last night as we were driving back from Pennsylvania late, and we're going to miss her a lot, but she's definitely ready for change. Not so sure we're ready for change, but she is enrolled in Penn State. So thank you. That's it. I'm happy to answer questions. This was a cartoon that one of the folks on the Week a Year tour drew for me as a thank you for leading the group down there. So
David,
What
thank you
else?
so much.
I'll
It was
stop sharing.
a wonderful And I'll mention that those tables and bike tables and various woodworking projects, a lot of those are on Living Whole Online in the Mind, Body, Spirit art section. David has made these phenomenal videos that basically teach you how to make these things. And I know I'm never going to have a wood shop like he has or make these kinds of things, but I really love watching these videos. He goes into really interesting detail about things, and they're very fun to watch.
It's during the pandemic, I kind of taught myself a little video editing, and some people hate it, but I love it, including the sound and music and text and graphics in there. So
Yeah, there are a lot of great videos out there I encourage everyone to check out. And I just wanted to say thank you so much, David. That was really inspiring and just a very special thing.
But David, what do you do in your spare time?
um, I'm pretty busy. Like I've had a lot of encourage to like, you should retire or something like that, but I have a very patient wife. I think that might send her over the edge if I, did any more. But I'm able to, well, I've been able to, I have a sleep disorder. I mean, I've able to cobble the sleep disorder to a very productive career and also a lot of hobbies. So.
David, thank you for the resources and the ideas and inspiration with all the things you shared. I have a question about the first two trails on the East Coast. You mentioned bikers. Are hikers also popular on those trails?
Yes, they are. We've actually had two veterans that were hiking the East Coast Greenway stay here. I mean, it takes a long time, and there's actually a lot of hikers on the September 11th trail. There's actually a group now. So yeah, it's again not for non-motorized. We said shared youth pass. So there's we're welcoming to e-bikes and scooters and skateboards and anything that doesn't have a combustion engine really. So because if that's actually part of the grant process. It has to be non-motorized users. Most people aren't through riders on those trails. 98% of the people out there are out walking their dog on the local trail, which is wonderful.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm in New Hampshire and could
Yeah.
get to that trail for a day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What town are you in New Hampshire?
I'm in Grantham.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. There's a great trail from Concord, New Hampshire, all the way up. It's about 55 miles, 57 miles to Lebanon. So it's called the Northern Rail Trail, which is beautiful.
Oh yeah, I've been on it. I'm just south of Lebanon.
Yeah. Okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
that's a good trail.
Yeah, that's a great trail. Yeah.
Are there any other questions that people have? Any other reflections or thoughts you want to share before we move ahead?
Todd, I want to call out my buddy Todd Kurland. He and I met on a bike ride in the late 1980s. He's been very supportive. He's actually Stephanie's godfather, and we've been on a lot of bike rides together. And I actually I really cut the presentation down, especially to keep it apolitical. But one of the slides, Todd, I had in was during the pandemic, you and I meeting in a parking lot, writing registered to vote postcards for different states. So I could have, we could have gone crazy with this thing, but we're trying to. So just my point is just everyone can get involved. We all have, busy jobs and are, but you can still do something per the last comment. One of the things that, from the Stephanie's convocation yesterday, they, was talking about change is inevitable, is that everyone can do something, to improve the world. I forget the exact quote that the person said, but it's really, really true. So yeah, we've got a lot of change in our family, and we will get through this. And your kids observe what you do with your, disposable time, and I think that's made a difference in our kids. So,
Say, can I add one thing, Dave?
of course.
The thing I'd add, great presentation, by the way, it's hard to keep track. You've got so many things, interests and passions. Any one of those would keep most of us busy on their own. But I just wanted to comment that one of the things that Dave does, I'm a friend of Dave's, and I know many of you are, he gets people involved. He enrolls people in the passions that he has. So if he's doing a bike ride or a fundraiser or delivering a bike table, or there's something going on related to the trails, he lets his friends know about it, and he gets us involved, and it allows us to participate and to develop some interest in those passions as well. So I think that's a key part of the change that he has in his life. He gets other people involved, and it's a benefit to us.
Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, you try, and you can be more or less successful. People have to have a passion. Some people try things and don't like it. Biking 3,000 miles isn't for everyone, but we can all do something. So,
While we have both of you guys on the spotlight, I'll mention we have a beautiful podcast in the food section of David and Todd talking about whole food plant-based. Todd's got a really, really interesting, very heartwarming story about his journey with food, and he inspired David to get on that journey as well. So check out that podcast sometime. It's really beautiful. And also Todd has contributed a number of videos. I think, David, you had a little help you were helping a bit in doing the video editing, that are just really sweet, lovely videos showing some of his favorite ways of making food.
Yeah.
Todd's a super busy guy too, and he's come up with very creative, very nutritionally packed ways of doing snacks and breakfasts and smoothies.
Right. Yes. Yeah. He's good in front of the camera, and I do the editing for him. So yeah.
I
So we
just
have to know, Catherine, that I made some hummus 5 minutes before this call.
Send it around.
Well, I just linked that introductory podcast video in the chat as well, but there are multiple videos that Todd has made there are 3 that I'm looking at right now, so you can feel free to check them out on the site, get some snack inspiration.
Yeah.
All right, well then I guess let me turn it back over to Catherine, and we'll just say thank you again so much, David. That was a really wonderful, really wonderful session.
Yeah.
And before we move to our closing, I just want to take a moment to highlight for everyone some new content that we have coming up that you can enjoy. So here at Living Whole, we have a podcast coming up with David Reed. That's what came out today. Hopefully you got that in your email inboxes. It's with Catherine. They have a lovely conversation. I highly recommend it. Also coming down the pike, we have Tiffany Sankari Feldenkrais movement lesson about improving stress by undoing your head forward posture. We have Catherine's podcast with Maggie Block. We have Sheila's chair yoga class, which you may get a secret sneak peek of in a minute. No spoilers. And coming up in September, our next TLC will be on the 21st. And that will be a very cool special session in which Catherine and her husband, David Thomas, will continue this discussion about change. It's our final session on change, our third webinar devoted to this theme. And we're going to be focusing on the idea that Living Whole Online is meant to help all of us with a very challenging project in life, which is trying to take on a lifestyle change. So between now and then, be thinking about what you would like to share about your project of lifestyle change, what your intentions are, what barriers you have been encountering, and how you're going about taking action. And Sheila Margulies will be returning to center us at the beginning of that session and to offer a closing chair yoga session. So there are many more surprises coming as well here at Living Whole Online.
Thank you all. Thank you, Theo and Cleo. Thank you all for participating in this lovely Sunday TLC gathering. David, so wonderful to have you with us today. One of our main reasons for creating Living Whole Online is so that we can meet together and have conversations. For now, our main way of doing that is these monthly Sunday TLCs. We're open to hearing from you about other things that you'd like to have happen that will strengthen the community. Does anyone have any more comments, questions before we turn things over to our beautiful chair yoga class with Sheila?
Everyone seems quite zen. Which is ready to move in. Anyone want to jump in, or is everyone feeling good?
Feeling good.
Excellent.
I'm feeling really good, and I also just wanted to add that one of the things I've noticed about David over the years that we've known each other is that all of his efforts to change the world and change his community and help people have also changed him. And so, and I think in Living Whole, that's the counterpart of change, that by engaging in activities that are, moving the world ahead an inch, we really are developing ourselves, we're changing ourselves. And I don't know if anyone relates to that, or David, if you have anything that you want to add along that line. But, I think we've all grown through whatever activities we've chosen to pursue that have made some change around us, but it also is very impactful in terms of the change within us.
Yeah, that's a good point, David. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, sometimes you don't realize that when you're changing as a person, but I think, it definitely occurs. I'm a very different person than I was years ago. But again, I think leaning into some of these things and realizing that you can contribute and have the skills and not just sit on the back in the background or on the bench, but just getting involved. So thank you for saying that.
I think also that just setting the intention of embracing change instead of running away from it. I think we have a tendency to kind of step back or hold back, whereas, what, maybe there's really something to learn from this new situation, which requires us to change. And, I loved your quotation at the beginning about having the life that you always planned for, and then finding out that maybe that isn't the life that we thought was going to happen, but I can't remember exactly what it said, but something to that effect. And it's like Joseph Campbell. But just embracing what is and leaning into that. And I think that's something that's just full of so much possibility and expansion. And it's terrifying too, but
Absolutely.
I think just
terrifying.
if we set that as an intention every day, just moving the needle, even a tiny bit, that's how change happens.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah, it's terrifying when I'm lucky my daughter's in a very safe place. She's, academically ready for this, but it's just change.
It's change.
I'd love another 18 years of our family together, but it doesn't work that way.
No.
So. It was not fair to her either. So.
No.
Well, I think that's a beautiful note on which to transition to Sheila and this movement practice, since we're speaking about change and the terror of change. But also the motivation. I'm going to bring Sheila up here, and let's see, I will. Okay. All right. Then I will hand off the floor to her for a closing chair yoga practice.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, David. That was so inspiring and eye-opening and amazing, wonderful to see what can come from a vision, a dream, a desire, passion, curiosity, all those wonderful things that help us to live our most excellent lives. And well, I wrote down I'm going to find out about how to do a platelet donation, because out of everything that was presented, I'm like, I can do that. I know I can do that. And that's good. Thank you. And I also believe that, sometimes when things seem overwhelming, how can we possibly do all this? That picking that one thing is a really excellent way to start. And yeah, Nancy, moving the needle, that's a great analogy. Just, inching our way forward. And my teacher always says, and she's quoting, I'm sure, one of her teachers. It is. I think Satchitananda said, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf. And riding the waves. So chair yoga is nearly 5,000 years old. It's a practice that has been offered over the centuries. It is a self-observation practice. It is a practice of curiosity, checking in, no judgment, no competition. Being in a chair means that we don't have to get down on the floor and then back up again, which for many people is quite a relief. And over time, we can come from the chair to our feet, back to the chair, and maybe down on the floor. But for sure, this is something for every body. So I invite you to take again that comfortable seat. And for me, I'm in sort of an office chair, so I'm going to scoot more to the edge of it. So my feet are on the ground, ankles uncrossed, hands somewhere on your lap or knees, and pressing up again through the crown of your head, through the crown of the head, to lengthen the spine, to open, as the yogis were so fond of exploring, the energy channels that run through the body, sometimes called the little rivers. And with those eyes closed or looking soft past the tip of the nose, shifting once again to that easy breathing in and out through the nose, with that gentle smile on your face that helps to release the tension in the jaw, behind your eyes, across your brow. We rest here in the present moment, breathing away the future, expectations, letting go of what's behind us without the judgment, resting in the here and now. A little mantra could be just this. And I love to add, and all is well. Everything is okay. Place a hand over your heart and one to the belly. And imagine these giant, amazing lungs that you might be able to feel from your collarbones all the way down to the low ribs. And imagine as you breathe that you can fill these lungs from top to bottom. And as you exhale, the exhalation is slightly longer than the inhalation, inviting in the relaxation response of rest and digest. Having a felt sense of the heart getting that hug and the internal organs getting that squeeze, fresh blood supply, oxygen, energy, or prana. That sweet long exhalation, and the hands fall to the lap or the knees, and you drop your head down, chin to the hollow of your throat, and let your head just hang heavy for a moment, feeling the gentle tug along the length of the spine. The central line of communication, information, sensation. Lift your gaze as though you're looking straight ahead and the shoulders square back. And then turn your gaze over your right shoulder, just turning your head and looking out of the corners of your eyes. And then turn your head and look gently over the left shoulder, looking out of the corners of your eyes. And bringing your head forward, dropping it down chin to chest, taking your fingers laced together behind the back of your head, and gently draw the chin closer and maybe let the spine curve a bit, creating even more space between the vertebrae. More space, more room for all of the sensation, feelings, thoughts, emotions. Inhaling as you lift your head, hands still laced together. Exhale as you let your head fall into your hands, like you're leaning back into a super cozy couch, lounging, opening the chest and the heart and the front body. And then as you look forward, reach your arms skyward, lifting arms skyward. And then turn the palms down and let your hands slowly, your arms slowly come down to rest alongside your body. And then turn the palms up. Inhale, scoop. Arms reach, energy lifting, reaching skyward like a celebration. Exhale, arms come down, come down, come down. And again, inhaling, reaching, lifting, lengthening, and pause for a moment. Take your left hand, reach for your right wrist, and then tug a little bit over to that left side, reaching, squeezing, squeezing. Good. And then inhale up and draw your belly in slightly and exhale over to the opposite side. Inhale back to center and let those arms float out to the side in a T position. Then turn your palms to face up. Bring your fingertips to your shoulders. Roll the elbows in a circular motion. Lots of this practice is repetition, again and again. But every time you come to your seat or come to your mat or your feet, you are a different person with a different set of life experiences to unwind, unfold, unpack. Let's go the other way, inhaling, lifting, connecting breath and movement. And any sounds or sighs. I'm a fan of sounds and sighs. Unfurling. One more time, around and around. Then reach those arms out. Turn the palms up. Make goalposts with your arms. Then bring the palms and the elbows close to each other and pick up your right elbow and cross it over the left. This may or may not work in your shoulders and your body. You could take the backs of your hands towards each other or hold fingertips to your palm and lift the elbows up and squeeze them down. This is a little bit of shoulder therapy. You can also just hug your shoulders, and that would be just as beautiful. Up and down, there's always a variation and a way to do this work together. One more time, up and down, and then bring your hands to your shoulders and give yourself that great big squeeze, and then slide your hands down your arms, past your elbows, past your fingertips, and then let go and shake your hands out. Shake your arms out as though you're just pushing away anything that you can set aside. Let it go. Yes, yes, yes. Then inhale again. Arms reach and reach and reach, and bring your palms together over your head. Bend your elbows and bring your thumbs down behind the back of your head. The thumbs down behind the back of your head. Squeeze your tummy in a little bit, and then press the elbows back and let your head lightly press back towards your thumbs, getting a wonderful stretch across the shoulders. We carry so much tension in the shoulders. We say that is so much weight, so much heaviness, such a pain in the neck. Then lace your fingers again behind your head and drop your head down and let your elbows come towards each other slightly with that gentle squeeze. Inhaling, come back. We want to move the body in all directions. Come out with the arms reaching. Spread your fingers wide. Turn your palms down. Exhale, hands fall away. Putting your left hand by your lap. Turn the right palm up and lift the arm and lean over to the side. Good. Come up and switch sides. Bring your hand down and reach across and over. Good. Notice where your mind is. Inhale up, exhale down. Can you be here now? Other side, just this. And back again, one more time, up across and over. Good. Reaching your arms out to T, take your left hand to your right knee and your right hand to the side of your chair so that you can twist and look over that right shoulder and squeeze, lifting up through the crown so the spine is an extension as you twist. And then gently turning to the other side, taking your hand to your knee, looking over the left shoulder. Again, internal organs love these squeezes. So excellent for digestion, right? This is important digestion, not just nutrients, food, but experiences, stories, ideas, life. Come back to the center as you unfold. Good job. Now reaching those arms out again and turning the palms up. Lift the arms. Now pause here and tip your head back, gazing skyward, looking up towards the heavens, towards all of the infinite potential, all of the good things awaiting in this moment and always trusting. Turning the palms down, let the arms slowly come down, and then reach them out in front of you and press your palms forward like you're saying, stop. Good. And then turn the fingers down. Yes. And press the palms forward like stop. And then turn the palms towards each other. Lace your fingers together. Flip the palms forward. Lift your arms skyward and draw again the low abdominals in and press up towards the sky. Bring your arms out to the side. Turn the palms forward, bring them together, lace your fingers and switch your lacing, the opposite pinky on the bottom, the opposite thumb on the top, like you're holding somebody else's hands, and then flip the palms forward and lift your arms skyward and lengthen, pressing down through your feet, lifting up through the crown, and bring the hands out and over and down. Let your hands rest on your knees. Take your right leg and lift the right leg out in front of you. Just lift it out in front and point and flex your foot and circle your ankle around. I'm sorry, you can't see me. It's down too far. Circle around, one way, then the other. And then just bend the knee and let the knee rock forward and back, like a hinge joint that this knee is meant to be, forward and back, bringing in some lubrication into that knee. And then put down that left foot, right foot, and pick up, stretch out the left and circle your ankle around one direction, the other, so that all the joints in the body have the chance to be in movement in this practice, one way and the other. And then bending the knee, hinge, and just let your legs swing, swing, back and forth, back and forth. Yes, yes, good, good, good. And then put that left foot down. Now pick up your right knee. Can you take your fingers around your shin and squeeze that knee in close to your belly? Maybe, maybe not. I keep having to back up a little bit away from the desk, away from the computer, and then put that leg foot down and pick up the opposite and give it a squeeze and squeeze in, squeeze in, squeeze in. This is called the wind relieving pose for good reason. Get things moving and then let your foot come down. Now slide your hands to your knees. You're starting to lean forward. Put an elbow and then the other on top of the knee. Drop your head down and hang your head as though you've just put your head down on the desk. When David was talking about elementary school, like a little kid, just putting your head down on the desk, taking a moment to simply be. Again, all of the thoughts and feelings, emotions run through your mind. Don't get carried away. Be here now. Gently lifting your gaze, putting one hand above each knee, walking your hands up the legs, and then letting your hands rest somewhere. Make a little basket, one hand over the other, and your eyes can stay soft closed or look past the tip of the nose. And we'll take just a few moments to be quiet together, turning the attention inward to that inner landscape, observing sensation, the shifting, changing sensations, observing the breath, which is that excellent anchor to the present moment. And as we allow the body to soften, as we give our minds time to rest, we can drop into the quiet spaces between the thoughts and simply ride those thought waves. It's true, it can be terrifying to think of change, especially the unknown. Not knowing what's happening next is the ultimate truth. We have no idea what will happen next. If we spend time imagining, visioning, dreaming about it, thinking about it, coming up with stories and conversations, and what will happen then, and what will she say, and what will he do, and then what happens next, our bodies respond as though we're in the midst of that terrifying situation that is all fantasy in the mind. And our bodies are flooded with the hormones. The stress reaction is real. These practices of mindfulness, these pauses, reset the nervous system. Take us from that fight, flight, or freeze into a place of comfort and ease. Again, where we can see more clearly and have more resources available to us for what might come our way. Danafal's my favorite Kripalu yogi poet. One of my favorite poems, Let Go. So as you sit, I invite you to listen to these beautiful words. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold. The holding of plans or dreams or expectations, let it all go. Save your strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear, and desperate attempts to flee from the very energy that you long for. Let go. Let it all go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you receive it gently or with all of your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. Let go, and the wave's crest will carry you to unknown shores, beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go and find the place of rest and peace and certain transformation. Let your hands come together in this gesture known as the Namaste position, with the palms lightly pressed together towards the heart. Gesture of deep respect for yourself, for one another, for this community, for this time. And as you slowly let the eyes come open, you may be able to scan across your computer those who have joined you. And with great appreciation for who you are as you are in this moment, we say perfect, whole, and complete. Namaste. The light in me sees the light in you. Have a beautiful day.
Oh, namaste, Sheila.
Namaste.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was such a grounding, wonderful place to land. And I just want to say again, thank you all for being here with us today. It has been wonderful to be with you. We hope you have a great month, and we look forward to being together again at our next Sunday TLC, which is September 21st in your the same time in your local time zone, wherever you are. And if you're not currently on our mailing list but would like to be, please drop your email in the chat and I will include you. We only send one email per week and you can unsubscribe anytime. So it's low pressure. Well, okay, I guess that's all for today. So please feel free to sign off if you're ready. And for those of you who need a little more time, we will move you to the waiting room to decompress. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay. We get ourselves. Oh,
Thank you, Sheila, Cleo, and Catherine. Just really wonderful. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Loved having you. Please come again.
okay. All right. Thank you all. Okay. Let's see.
Did we lose
Okay.
David?
I believe that is all. Let me just end these two recording things we have going on. I think both Davids are still here. I think David Reed may have left, but okay, let me just make sure I get this sorted. Okay, let's see.
So while Cleo is sorting, Sheila, I'll be in touch with you about September 21.
Yes, yes, yes.
Once David and I kind of put our heads together about this idea that we have to